What's up, everybody? Woo! Welcome to the Slightly Salted Squad Thoughts E3. Who we thought showed up, who didn't show up, best games, what we're most excited for, all that. As always, I'm John at Inept.
I'm Mike at Sregge.
I'm Deion at Underdog.
These cookies are fucking amazing.
They are good.
Thanks, honey.
Thank you, Mike's wife, for cookies and bribing us. So
the cookies didn't work, love. They didn't work.
Didn't work yet. Future working. So, today we have a lot to talk about. We're going to use the whole 2 hours of Squad Thoughts, so from 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/Slightly Salted Squad, to go over our opinions of E3 2019. As always, you can check us out on Twitter, on Instagram, Patreon, and YouTube, of course, as well as your favorite podcast solution, network, whatever you want to call it, around the world.
All the above.
All the above. Twitch.tv/Slightly Salted Squad. Check the links below. Find everything you need, including our Discord, which you can come shit talk us and join video games with us. And as always, this is E3. We want your opinions. We're going to be debating, I think, fairly fiercely some of these topics. But we want to know what you're thinking too. So if you're in the chat, let us know. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think let's just get started. So we're going to go through our favorite conferences, the conferences we thought should show up and didn't. I guess I'm going to say that rather than just like worst conference.
But you know what it means.
Yeah, basically worst conference. But the ones that we expect a lot more of. Then we're going to go through the best games of a bunch of different categories we have. So they're official E3 winners. So we took kind of from that, the categories. We did not take all of them because a lot of them didn't have any games that we saw. So we're going to skip over those. And then we're going to get into our top 5 games of the show from what we saw and kind of like what we're looking forward to most. So we have an eager to know more category as well. So I think let's just start off with best conference. You want to go first, Mike?
Me? Was it This Week in Gaming 2 weeks ago? We kind of did our predictions on what we thought would be the best E3 conference. And my prediction at the time was Microsoft. Reason being that a lot of the pressure was off without PlayStation being there, and they really sort of had the floor to shine, and we knew that there was going to be some xCloud talk based on a leaked email that came out back in March or April. And there were some rumors that there would be a new Xbox announced based on some of the stuff that had been released with PlayStation and so some rumblings. For those of you guys who didn't catch the Microsoft conference, it was my favorite conference. They had 60 different games, 34 of them available on their Game Pass, which is huge. They changed their focus, or at least they announced they've changed their focus for their consoles from less of like a media center type thing to an actual gaming platform, which is huge, and that's obviously what the gamers wanted to hear. And you can really tell that their focus has changed over to gaming with their 7 new acquisitions last year alone of different game companies trying to build a platform. I don't know that 2020 or 2021 they're going to be pumping out exclusives like PlayStation does, but I think that they're in the right place and their heads sort of like in that right direction. The Game Pass updates that they announced, so the Game Pass Ultimate, which ties in Game Pass, and then Game Pass for PC, which was their new announcement, as well as your Xbox Gold. I think that's a slam dunk, $15 a month, and you sort of get everything. And I was reading on Reddit, with the the Game Pass Ultimate, you can play games on your Xbox and on your PC using the same account at the same time, which is kind of cool. I don't know if people are going to exploit that. I don't know how long it'll work that way. Yeah, but like, I can play a game on my Xbox and my wife can go play a free game on my PC at the same time, which I think is pretty neat. You sort of like get that whole package.
The same game?
That's a good question. I don't know.
My initial thought was World of Warcraft having multiple accounts, having like mages come around you and shit like that. So
yes, I've actually done that back in 2006. You have a wireless keyboard and a whole bunch of different pops. Anyway, you can do that. So that was a huge thing for me. I was really excited to hear about that. The xCloud updates, I think last year we talked about sort of where we thought gaming was going to go, and my biggest thing really circulated around mobility. I get so frustrated having to drag my PlayStation from my office to my theater to my bedroom so that I can play the game I want to play where I want to play it. And so with Stadia coming out, there was a lot of excitement from my end that I can take my games and play them wherever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want, and just go. So the xCloud updates and the things that they announced there, I think, are really bringing Xbox platform closer to that sort of playing field, and I'm super excited about that. So we'll see. There's still a lot of things I'm not quite sure about with the xCloud, but I'm absolutely excited for that. And then, of course, Scarlet, a little underwhelming, but we did get a console reveal, and they are the first next-gen console reveal of this next generation, if you don't really count Stadia in that. So it was very high level, very ambiguous, sort of, it reminded me a lot of, was it Project Durango or whatever it was for the Xbox One?
Oh, yeah.
Or it was just kind of like, we're doing these things, and it was sort of very vague terms. There's not a whole lot of stuff that's really pinned down, but they have a year and a half to figure all that stuff out, so that excites me. So that's it. Lots of games, new console updated, and a new platform updated. I think they took the stage, for sure.
Interesting.
Okay, Deion, I'm going to hold my comments.
Okay.
Oh, man, I really want to...
That's fine.
I don't know how to go about this.
Well, let me talk and then you can jump on.
Yeah, okay.
Because, for me, so I'm like gonna just damper everything as soon as we start. I did not have a really true best of conference in comparison to previous years, right? I think that, this is more of a lackluster E3 in my personal opinion than the previous year, especially with all the new IPs, new titles, and that's where most of my excitement comes from.
Yeah,
right?
real quick.
Yeah.
I think we can probably all agree on that, right?
Yep.
That this
Yes.
E3 was honestly overall meh.
Light.
I think there were
very light.
I think contribute a little bit. There was a lot of spoilers coming up before E3, so there weren't as many like gotcha surprises. But at the same time, like PlayStation not being there, PlayStation was it 2017 when they had the Last of Us, the Spider-Man, and all that. Like that is the perfect show or perfect conference in my opinion, and nothing came close to that this year.
No, not at all. I kind of expected that with it being the end of the generation and new stuff coming out, and a lot of people are holding their cards. There's still a lot of question about Last of Us 2, and are people waiting for next generation, or is that going to be this generation? So I kind of expected that, but you're right. It was very, very meh this year.
Yeah.
So who was your best of the worst?
Steve says he digs the background. Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
buddy.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
My best of the worst was Nintendo. For me, there was a lot of, I don't know. Again, all of them weren't the best for me just because I was looking for a lot of new stuff, new IPs. There's more things in the Nintendo catalog that I haven't explored yet personally. So, was really excited to see, Luigi's Mansion. I missed out on the ones after, there's only one that was after GameCube, right? Was it just two? Or was
Yeah,
there
I think there was just two. There might have been a mobile one. Or
I've never played a single
in
one
any
of them.
case, I haven't played it since GameCube, so that was really exciting for me. Starting off with a lot of the new character reveals for Smash, that was really cool. Somewhere in the middle, again, it dropped down for me. That's how I felt about Microsoft as well. There were some things I was like, oh, cool, Cyberpunk and all these other things. I don't give Microsoft the full credit for Cyberpunk because it's not their game. Granted, from a conference perspective, great, right?
Right.
I think the highlight of the show is Keanu Reeves and the whole, that whole thing. The thing.
So
cool.
I guess real quick on that, I think we could probably all agree on this one too, is the highlight of all of E3 was Cyberpunk 2077 Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
Honestly,
Yes.
Cyberpunk
Yep.
2077.
Such a genuine guy. He was so much fun to watch.
Seeing this motherfucker just show up in CGI
Yes.
and then come out on stage and...
In real life. He was there in real life.
Yeah, not be his character, just be genuinely excited.
Breathtaking man.
Breathtaking man. So breathtaking.
And the fact that we know now that he's got a lot of dialogue second to the main character is...
Yeah,
huge.
Johnny Silverhand.
Yes.
They confirmed his name. So, interesting. I heard a commentary too. It sounds like he's the one that's kind of in your comms, kind of helping guide you and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the whole premise, I guess, is around like a chip that's in your head that you didn't want to be there, and you're trying to figure out how to get it out. And I imagine he's probably in that chip,
right?
Kind of feeding stuff to you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I mean, just to wrap that up real quick, I mean, there was some new stuff in Nintendo that I like to see. I don't know if we're talking about it later, but the couple things as far as Zelda goes, that stuff's really cool. We'll probably dip into that a little bit more, but yeah, overall, I kind of picked Nintendo over some of the other ones. But again, I felt like each of them had their own little moments of highs and then kind of moments of meh.
Yeah, totally agree.
Respect that.
So mine, and I've been debating this because I feel very similarly that it was like none of them stood out to that next level in my opinion. I think
Square
Enix. Yeah. Which is weird because I went in with super low hopes because they've traditionally not done conferences. They had like a video last year that was terrible. This year they had a conference. It was during the PlayStation 1. It was the kind of quote unquote final conference, even though Nintendo does their direct the next morning. And they had it in an auditorium. They had this weird portrait thing, and there were a lot of down points to the conference, but they started it off with Final Fantasy VII. The screen went up, the start, new game, continue, or whatever, load game from Final Fantasy VII. That was like
really cool.
The perfect way to start it, like goosebumps right now, oddly enough. Because that was what I wanted to know more about. They provided what I wanted to know more about, and they did amazing gameplay. They did a substantial amount of gameplay, to the point where this remake, I was super nervous. Not so much about the episodic stuff. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. It is what it is.
Pretty much know exactly what you're going to get now. You know what I mean? Like, there's no confusion.
The combat I was worried about because I was very much, I wanted turn-based. I wanted the original game with new graphics. So I'm still a little kind of worried about the story and stuff like that, and how the whole game is going to be the first part of Final Fantasy VII on 2 Blu-ray discs. And is 25% of the original game, which originally came on 4 CDs. So I'm curious to see how that goes. But the gameplay that showed totally sold me on the mechanics because it's both fast-paced and you kind of have that time when the ATB fills up to kind of pick and choose things, or you can set it to be easier and all that stuff. And the boss battle, the environment, and everything. And then they showed Tifa, and I was like, damn. And then 100%.
It's in the notes.
It's in the notes.
Calm down. Calm down.
100% sold me on it. So they came out, they showed what we wanted to see. Not too much. I feel like just the right amount, because everybody that's played that has played that initial battle at first. That was literally the amount of the demo disc of the original Final Fantasy VII.
Yep.
So they came out and showed that. Then they had a bunch of weird moments in the conference where it went really down. They showed really long, super Japanese trailers and stuff like that, which I'm sure to that audience, they probably loved that and ate it up. I wasn't. I was getting very bored. / missed some of it because I was online trying to pre-order the Final Fantasy VII Collector's Edition, which I did. But then they had Final Fantasy VIII, which kind of came out of nowhere. Nobody ever thought that was going to happen.
Yep.
Then they had Marvel's Avengers, and they closed it out with that, which I have my critiques on because I wish they would have shown more. I wish they would have shown gameplay and explained the system, the games as a service, but solo play, kind of all over the place mechanics more. But they showed up where Square traditionally has not. So they're my favorite.
Yeah, I will say that, like, we kind of knew going into Square Enix that I think a majority of us wanted to see Final Fantasy VII and then Avengers. And they did a really good job at showing you everything with Final Fantasy VII in this one,
right,
and not so much on the Avengers side of things.
Yep.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII gameplay and stuff was, I think, the best showing of a game at E3.
Ever or this E3?
This E3, yeah.
Yeah, certainly this E3.
Not ever.
Yep.
I think Watchdogs Legion came pretty close, but I think Final Fantasy VII was the best way they could have done that, and I think they nailed it. The other things, not as much.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they should have flipped it. They should have done Avengers to begin with, and then ended on that Final Fantasy VII high note. Because I was fucking hyped by the end of that.
And they could have just done those two things, not talked about the rest of them. Also Final Fantasy VIII.
Right, they did one of those like things they did on Xbox, where like, and these titles, and it's just like flashing screens and shit, and being like, okay, now let's talk about what you want to see. I don't like that.
I will say quickly, honorable mention to Ubisoft. I mean, I think they did a good job with Watchdogs Legion and that Roller Champions game that we actually played the beta for, right? So, or it was what? Oh, yeah, nice job.
Sorry, chat.
Sorry, podcast, because they're the ones that are going to feel it the most.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. Quick note: Roller Champions. So it's pre-alpha through the 14th.
Yep.
Pretty much Rocket League except roller derby, and was way more fun than I anticipated. We all were like, "Hey, it's a free game. It's pre-alpha. That would be cool to stream, for reviews and all that." It was a lot of fun.
It reminded me a lot of NFL Street from the PlayStation 2 days, where you run off the wall.
Yeah, jump off the wall.
Yeah,
yep.
It very much like those hard hitting, sort of characterized animations and stuff. Very, very cool.
And I was a dunk champion, so we got that too.
He was 1 for 15 for dunks. It was pretty cool.
How many did you guys have?
I mean,
if you look at my ratio though.
Yeah.
0. 0 divided by 0. Doesn't work actually. It's undefined.
Points, but
Good.
Okay, so now our conference that we expected more out of. I'm gonna say that, and why I wanted to hold my tongue because I wasn't sure how to address it. Mine is Xbox.
Really?
Yeah.
Go ahead, please. Start.
Mine's Xbox too. So.
What?
Oh, damn. No. So it's because. Did I think they had a good conference? Yes. Is it what? Was it as much as it should or could have been? No, because PlayStation wasn't there. Xbox needed to just show up and just destroy. They had a 2-hour block. They only used like an hour and a half. I think a lot of the stuff we kind of knew was there. We didn't know specifics, and I don't feel like we got a ton of specifics out. Game Pass was amazing. Mm-hmm. I'll give them that. Game Pass was amazing, and Cyberpunk was amazing, but that was Cyberpunk because that's coming to PlayStation. I pre-ordered it for PlayStation and probably PC too. Yep. So I feel like they kind of rode the coattails of Cyberpunk in that presentation when they didn't have enough to show for their own first-party titles. And I know they got the studios last year. There's probably not much they can do, but at least showing work towards it. Like, for example, Nintendo. I think it was a terrible call that they showed the Zelda so soon without giving any more specifics. So I think Xbox, honestly, should have done that because no one knows what they're working on. And just giving kind of a hint like, hey, we have all these studios now, which is a great move by Microsoft, and they are on the upward trend where I think PlayStation's kind of going down a little bit, but they could have shown more. They did that clip of all the games rapid fire with just the names. They didn't. It was too quick, and you really couldn't tell what the games were and stuff like that, so that just seemed kind of wasted. Mm-hmm. And then their games, like Gears of War and Gears of War specifically, they didn't show any gameplay. That's coming out in 3 months, and there was no gameplay at all shown.
Yeah,
which was concerning to me. Not that
it's not for me because I don't give a shit because they need to it needs to die. It needs to die.
Gears, really?
Yes.
Okay.
This is my problem. And I've been an Xbox dude for a long time. I started with Xbox before I hopped on the PlayStation train. So original Xbox, Xbox One, blah blah blah, 360, everything. They had games back in the day. They had some really solid, strong IPs. Gears being part of that, Halo being part of that. There's obviously some strong ones there. I need some new IPs. Give me some new dang games, okay? They can do there'll be 60 games. They're presenting 30 games this year. World premieres. That's great. And some of them were solid, but not full-on AAA big-time games. A lot of the good ones that they showed were, smaller studio games, which is totally cool, except I played all of the Gears of War. I don't need a Gears of War 5 with the Terminator add-on.
And it wasn't even the only Terminator add-on of the entire conference.
Yeah.
There was another one too.
But
Terminator showed up to E3 better
yeah,
than most people.
I would rather have a Terminator game with the same engine that they do for Gears and just have a complete Terminator game than a Gears of War 5.
Luckily, Stephen Elliott says, "You're in luck. Sea of Thieves has a new sail and I think also a new hull." So.
I'm actually surprised they didn't have any Sea of Thieves announcements.
And that's the thing. They missed the opportunities. Like, Sea of Thieves has a dedicated following. They should have focused more on that.
Yeah.
And Gears of War was one of the... I have not still bought a game for Xbox yet because I use it as a 4K UHD player. I am impressed with Xbox. I think I'll probably be getting Games Pass, especially with it coming to PC. Like, Games Pass, they nailed. That was awesome.
Yep.
But like Gears of War, I was actually kind of interested in because I'd only ever played the first one on my buddy's Xbox way back in the day in college, and I was like, okay, now I finally have an Xbox, I can check this out. And then there was no gameplay. And then Halo, which has been talked about for the past couple of years about them coming to the new Halo and all that stuff, is a release title for their new, still unnamed console, holiday 2020, a year and a half away. Like,
okay, so I'm not too proud to admit defeat. You guys are right. You've convinced me. I really thought I had it,
but I really think you were right as far as like all the all of the other aesthetics and everything else, game aside. Yeah. I think they did a great job at demonstrating that.
Except that Gears of War thing where they like went to the stage, that was just like,
I thought that was fucking cool.
It was cool, but like
it just Gears out, man.
It threw off the whole rhythm of like the conference. I was like, what are they like? If they started with that or they ended with that,
were they going down? Yeah.
But it's like they won it and then they like came out and like, what?
I was fucking hyped. I'm just like typing up notes like crazy. This is amazing.
Yeah, and honestly, it's weird because it is one of my higher conferences of like my list, but it's also the one that they need to come out here and just be like, fuck you, PlayStation.
I wanted more
Bam.
out of it.
Yeah, they need to throw that thing onto the table. Okay.
So for me,
yeah, Mike, what you got?
My worst conference, the one that I really expected more from, was EA, and really the biggest piece of that was like, I really wanted them to address Anthem. Please say something. You have a series of followers that are dedicated, very much like the Sea of Thieves. You have people that actually want to play. I want to fucking play that game. It just needs to be good first. So if you guys could do that, that would be fantastic. Also, the show was a little bit slow. Like, they were kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the talks about the Last Jedi, Fallen Jedi.
The actual, like, developer talks.
Yes, right. Fallen Order, rather, sorry. And I really enjoyed the discussion about Apex Legends. Super cool. And then there was like this really low point with a bunch of sports games that I don't really particularly care a whole lot about. Though honestly, the FIFA going back to the streets, I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But again, it felt very targeted. I did catch that they had some sort of new ball physics at some point.
Lots of balls.
Like something
ball
was
physics.
mentioned about like optimized.
Yeah, what was it?
Oh my god, the guy must have said it 100 times.
I'll find it.
So like there was some stuff there.
I tweeted about
the new Madden stuff. Like, I didn't really care. They spent so much time on that shit, and they could not address the one game that I really wanted them to say stuff about. Also, I don't know about anybody else, but I was so uncomfortable watching those people roast at that freaking conference.
I felt so
They
bad.
kept pulling the camera back, and you kind of like see everybody standing out there. They were literally handing out umbrella hats because it was so hot. It's just like this.
Which was a kind of funny, cool play by them, to be honest. Like, here's an EA branded umbrella hat.
Yes. Well, as the conference went on, and they have like that overhead camera where they were like showing you the whole conference, you just saw more and more hats like popping up. It was really uncomfortable to watch. I went and I put on sunscreen, and I was staying in my office. So,
real quick, Steve, asking about selling point and what the point of Gears of War series is.
Yes.
The first one, I thought it was a pretty good narrative, and it was like, I'm gonna kill a bunch of aliens.
I would say the first 2 Gears of War, solid, basic concept, aliens underneath us, the planet we didn't know about it, they come up, they're trying to kill us.
Yeah.
War happens.
Honestly,
sawing ensues. Like,
solid.
Yeah,
exactly. As a guy who doesn't enjoy shooters, I actually really enjoyed Gears of War 1 and 2. It made cover fire super easy, so I felt like I could actually compete. And it was so gratifying to cut those people in half with your saw and that kind of stuff. Very gory, very over the top.
Yep. I mean, what's happened is just like a lot of other series and other things we see where things just drawn out because it's selling so much that, then you have later Gears of War. I played them. They didn't hit the mark. The story's just extra drawn out. You have people like Cliff Bleszinski, who was was there at founding it and left since then. So now it's still the same IP, but you don't have the same people behind the scenes. And that's why now there's also, I don't want to spoil anything super drastic, but some of those characters in the earlier ones aren't not around in this new Gears 5. Oh my god.
Characters died.
But and so it's just, I don't know, it's just a drawn out universe where I feel like they should just do something else. I really do.
I don't know that it's arcadey shooter, but it's
it's not arcade.
Over the top.
Yeah, it's one of those blood and guts.
Almost like a Call of Duty type. All the shit's going on.
Yes,
at the same time.
exactly.
Yeah, explosions, etc. So one thing on EA Play, it's interesting. I think they kind of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit because they do this different format than everybody else now. And so for those of you that didn't watch, so EA Play was actually like 4 hours long, where they would focus on each game for a half an hour, and then they would have little kind of intermissions where they talk about other games real quick. Like they did have like this little tiny Anthem thing, but it was like nothing worthwhile at all. So they went over Jedi Fallen Order, they went over Battlefield 5, so Respawn started them both off, Jedi Fallen Order and Apex Legends, which I think were both great. Battlefield 5 was lackluster. They talked a little bit about Battlefront 2, but then FIFA, and then Madden, and Sims 4, which has been out for 20 years. And
I was more impressed with that than I was with Madden and FIFA.
FIFA,
though, has re-architected gameplay.
That's what it was. Holy
and ball
shit,
physics.
Has it been re-architected?
So re-architected.
Here's my problem with FIFA. They didn't really show me anything.
Well,
we just talked. They just show me footage of like people in street courts. I'm like, cool. Show me what that's gonna look like. They didn't show anything.
Yeah, they really didn't show
anything.
They showed like trailer-esque type stuff, not actual gameplay and stuff, which I agree, because I do have a lot of questions on how that would work in a game.
Like, show me one match of that,
and
then I'd be sold. I think a lot of people are interested in how that's gonna.
It was re-architected though.
It was re-architected.
New ball physics, guys.
It's
new ball physics. So I think they do kind of shoot themselves in the foot because everybody has E3 expectations. Even the Nintendo Direct, which is a digital format, follows that kind of. We're going to talk about a bunch of games really quickly. We're going to have some surprises. EA Play was, here's exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about in depth and probably more like, for example, FIFA and Madden. I don't need to know about the re-architecture. You could say that one time in like a 30-second trailer and I'd be like, okay, I got it. FIFA 2020. I got it. Madden 2020. Football physics. Cool. Did I appreciate the Jedi Fallen Order going super in depth?
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
But I know some people really wanted that FIFA, really wanted that Madden. I don't know who wanted the Sims, but apparently people do.
I could have taken a 1 hour conference with 30 minutes of Jedi Fallen Order and like 30 minutes of like everything else,
right?
And just crammed it in and been done.
See, I think if they had done that, and even if they kept their celebrity influencer, whatever you want to call them, Golden Boy and Greg Miller and the other girl's name, just threw them in as like introductory, like they come out, introduce the game real quick, the kind of just back and forth. Next game, I think this would have been a much better conference.
Agreed.
But because they do this and they want to be different and even not technically part of E3, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Yep.
Best conference if they did it differently. EA Play.
Potential.
That was my E3 prediction for best conference. I was wrong.
What about you, Dan?
For what? Worst conference?
Yeah.
All of them. All of them sucked.
All of them trash.
I was not happy.
Well, I mean, you kind of said Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, it was Xbox for me. And that's more of a... EA one's interesting because I kind of do think probably more EA, but my personal twinge on Xbox and wanting. I've had my console for a long time, dude. I have no new game. There's nothing there that I wouldn't just play on a PC or a PlayStation at this point. That's my problem.
Yeah.
And I'm upset about it, Mike.
That's a problem. It's about, I totally agree. I don't even own an Xbox.
We're upset for it. Shit, I have one. But, so, real quick, I did want to give a shout out to some of the 3 smaller quote-unquote conferences that happened. So Upload VR did a E3 VR showcase, which was really cool. We're actually going to talk about mainly just one game out of that. Those some of our favorites. Kind of Funny Games Showcase, I think I got that. That the Kind of Funny group does. That was really cool. But Devolver Digital, let's see, get that up there. Oh, that kind of looks weird behind us. But Devolver Digital, a lot of games that people already kind of knew about, but watch it because it is highly entertaining. And it's not a traditional conference.
It was.
It was bloody. There was a lot of swearing. There was body stealing. There was aliens. It was just all over the place, and it was kind of that breath of fresh air. I think I rated it probably the highest of the conferences because I had fun watching it. Mm-hmm. But it was also like we knew most of the things, and it wasn't super, impactful. Oh my!
It's gonna be stuck in my head the rest of the day.
Carrion, a game where you are the evil lab creation that escapes and kills people. So,
they call it like a reverse horror game where you are the monster going through the lab killing all the people. It was actually pretty cool.
Shout out to my friend Pedro. That
dude.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe that. Like dancing shooter game.
It's like a bullet hell shoot 'em up, side scrolling meets John Wick like flipping, kicking tables and all that shit. So that comes out June 18th, I think.
I see June 20th here.
June 20th? Okay, my bad. I was 2 days off. Soon. So Devolver Digital has been publishing some of the coolest stuff for those like indie titles. So definitely check them out. They're pretty awesome. Okay. Anything left on conferences before we get into actual game categories and games?
Have we heard anything yet about PlayStation when they're announcing?
No.
I bet you they're just soaking it all in.
Yeah, they are.
Know what Xbox
taking
did.
notes.
They know everything.
They're gonna let Cyberpunk kind of die down like a little bit, and then they're gonna come back and be like, Cyberpunk trailer, or also that. Cyberpunk jackets. I think I sent you guys the link.
I want one.
Mm-hmm.
They have
$400.
E3 swag Cyberpunk jackets that are black and they're reversible to be yellow, and they're like samurai jackets. They call them whatever. You can purchase them on eBay for like $400 right now, but CG Projekt Red is bringing them a similar version to their store for much less than $400, which was actually, I thought, cool on their part to be like, guys, don't buy these things.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna give you something.
Hopefully they're not like the Fallout bags.
Oh, those actually just got delivered.
Yeah, they did.
So we'll talk about it this week in gaming, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, for episode 31, we're gonna, I think, kick that right off with Fallout.
All right.
So there you go.
Also, these Matos, you are correct, Steve. You are no longer allowed to comment.
Grounded. Okay. Let's get into the games then. I'm thinking maybe we say best of show for the last category.
All right.
Best original game. Mike. And I don't have an image, unfortunately, for any of these games because I was terrible about prepping.
Wow. Yeah, so honestly, I agreed with your guys' picks. I actually picked this one, not necessarily because it was the best, but it was certainly up in the top 3, and I wanted to make sure that we talked about it. Outriders. So we didn't actually get to see a whole lot about this game. In fact, they spent more time talking about the actual developers, and they showed the same like 15, 20-second clip over and over again. But it's a 1 to 3 person drop-in, drop-out, co-op, shoot-'em-up. And it kind of looks like you might have powers. It felt very much like an apocalyptic Destiny. Pretty excited for it. So I think Outriders. The graphics looked absolutely phenomenal, and I'm sure they were all pre-rendered stuff. They didn't see a whole lot of like actual gameplay, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, the trailer for it just looks awesome. Summer 2020. Honestly, it reminded me of, I can't think of her name now, from, hey, thanks for the sub, and sorry that one's double.
Make it a double. You subbed for 12 months. You didn't even know it. Thanks, bro.
Spoilers, we just took it out of your bank account. So, the Wreck-It Ralph alien game where the girl...
Oh, yeah.
So, honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, that looks like that. But it looks amazing. I'm very excited for it.
It does. Looking for it on our notes.
Yeah.
Find it.
Deion, what was your best original game?
So this is my best original, and it's a game that I'm eager to know more about. Ghostwire Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was at the Bethesda. Was that Bethesda that did that one? I can't recall.
Yes.
Yes, it was Bethesda. Yep.
But if you guys check out the trailer for Ghostwire Tokyo, it's essentially, it reminds me of something Death Stranding-ish, and I'm only going to say that because it's in that same horror category. There's something going on with like people disappearing out of Tokyo. There's a lot of horror going on, but what I'm excited about is it looks like there's some type of badass ninja or badass, assassin. Yeah. He's got like a bow on his back, and I'm more curious if you can play as that character. Because like my blend of a horror game is that I have some badass weaponry to kill the stuff. So I think that's it for me. But want to know more. But you guys should check out the trailer for that one.
Yep. It almost
Actually,
feels
I'll link it in chat so people can see it.
like Ronin from Endgame, where
Yep.
it's just kind of like the streets are almost barren, and you're like this really badass sort of ninja-looking guy. That was my first thought.
Yeah.
So very
My
good.
first thought was, this is a Deion motherfucking game.
Yeah.
I put that in the notes.
It was in the notes, actually. It's so funny.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that looks really good. And actually, back to, I guess, conferences real quick. Bethesda had some cool stuff. They had a lot of really bad stuff, and like they shouldn't have talked about a lot of stuff. And Fallout 76, like I'm excited for that to kind of for them to do updates and whatever. But it's like,
Yeah.
they had cool stuff.
So we had someone in our cluster that had way different opinions than we had while watching it, and shout out to Farrell. What up, Farrell?
What up, Pharaoh?
Unrelated.
We're over here.
Wasn't
We're all the
you.
way over here. But my point in that is clearly, we all got the ramifications of Fallout, and watching this, at least they were more upfront about it. They know they effed up, and they're trying to do things to correct that. So I'm not going to keep ragging on them if they're trying to turn it around.
Yeah, they're doing what they can. The Battle Royale felt a little kind of like,
Let's
just try this shit real quick.
Too little, too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you watch any of that, by the way? Because I know
I saw Shroud was streaming it, but I didn't watch any. That game is not built for like fast-paced gun stuff anyways.
Isn't like
So, but I'm gonna jump over your mic real quick because my best original game was Deathloop, in quotes, Deathloop, and that was at the Bethesda conference too. So that was two games that I don't think anybody expected. Like there was no leaks about that or anything. It just those came out of the blue, which made their conference better. Not great, but better. So this is essentially two assassins, world-class assassins, are stuck on this island, and they have to kill each other. Every time they kill each other, the day seems to reset. The art style of the trailer was, I think, one of my favorite trailers I've seen in a long time, honestly. It was a very 70s kind of art style, super stylized. And it just looked really cool, kind of like a Happy Death Day movie. So Groundhog's Day, but dying. Kind of concept. So not a whole lot around it as far as what they saw, but the actual trailer made it look amazing.
Yeah, it looked interesting.
It almost
didn't have a date on it though, unfortunately.
It felt like a spy versus spy.
Yeah.
On crack, right?
Yeah.
Like even the promotional image that they have where you got the two guns and it's sort of like this white gun on black and then this orange gun with fire, and it's like a very polarized thing. And what I really liked about that trailer was it was both spies sort of talking, and they're both talking about why they're fighting.
Yeah, their own perspective,
Right, and she's talking about, I have to keep fighting because we can't break the cycle, and he's fighting because he has to make sure that the loop stops. And you almost like, you're not really sure which side you're going to be on, or if maybe you start one story and then you do the other, or maybe it's a back and forth, you don't really know. But it felt like I could get behind both of their causes at the same time, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, and I mean, just the quality of the CGI trailer is just amazing, and it just looks like pandemonium and all that stuff, but futuristic and not futuristic at the same time. It's, yeah, I'm very excited for that game whenever that comes. So Bethesda, good on you for at least getting some like new IPs out there. It seems like something they're not afraid of. And then Starfield is coming, and Elder Scrolls is coming. So
Commander Keen is coming.
Next. Yeah, Mike, yours? Or never mind, my bad. Next one we had best console. I'm gonna put none.
Yeah.
Because
there really weren't any.
There was Stadia, and then there was Project Scarlet, and there was xCloud.
You can't really give like we need the like here's the reveal, here's what it looks like, here's every we need that. That, so.
Stadia
that was all around.
Not really officially part of E3, but it's the day before stuff. Well, 2 days before stuff really started to happen. So I think, in my opinion, Stadia quote unquote won. From what people were saying on the floor of E3 playing it, xCloud had. And there were a lot of caveats from what I heard. So it was xCloud was on the Wi-Fi, and it's in this big convention center, and it's whatever. But it was literally just like you pick up, and it was like playing Forza or something. It was like it wasn't special games for it. It's just there's Forza. You can play whatever you want on Forza, but there was some latency on it. Not bad, but like noticeable.
Sure.
Stadia one I heard was flawless, except they were playing on the Chromecast Ultras that were hardwired in. So the Chromecast Ultra does have an Ethernet port. So probably going to get different speeds on that. So hard to say at this point, but
sure.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
These Matos actually has a great point. It says the future is no console. Take this category and throw it out. And while it sounds a bit like a jab, I actually agree. I think that I know Microsoft said this was not the last console they were planning on building, but honestly, I think the focus is going to be less on how do I get a piece of hardware for you to play my games, and more focus on how do I get my games to you faster and cheaper, and without having to buy a specialized piece of hardware.
Yeah, subscriptions all over the place. You got Game Pass, you got the Ubisoft thing, you got Stadia. You got Bethesda using Orion, which I know is actually. I don't think we really have a category for Orion.
We don't, because it's a technology.
Yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit on This Week in Gaming. So it's a software solution to the hardware problem that xCloud and Stadia is trying to solve. And so it's a platform that Bethesda has created to help deliver games over stream faster. And they were boasting a 40% increase in speed using the Orion platform. Which means
crazy.
Yep, you need less powerful internet to run your games at the highest frame rates and the highest resolution, and it might make things like Stadia and xCloud cheaper because they don't have to pay for big, more powerful servers, and they can use 40% less power. So, very exciting. Also, yes, Deion is in fact going in.
Steve, calling me out, bro.
I know, in front of the world.
Real quick, Archer Farms. You still haven't responded back to my email, but we're open to this being an ad read right now instead of us just talking about how you didn't email me back. So Archer Farms, Peanut Butter Monster, email me back so we can get free peanut butter monster.
John's grieving over the relationship he never had.
Yeah.
Archer Farms.
Archer Farms. I might stop saying Archer Farms unless you start giving us Archer Farms.
They're going to run like their analytics and find that Archer Farms has 427 hits on the Slightly Salted Squad.
Weird.
Yeah.
The only people that ever talk about Archer Farms. Let's see. Next one. Best VR/AR game. I do have a picture for this one.
I feel like this one was the same across the board.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's the same across the board.
Sell it, John. Go on the spiel.
Pistol Whip.
Woo.
Kind of weird pictures, but this is a VR game that when they first showed it, I was really confused at what was going on.
What?
The gun's on the outside of his hand.
I literally thought that was John when he showed me the image. I was like, did you Photoshop yourself with that gun on the outside?
That's awful.
It's when you do the VR overlays, so it tries... So essentially this trailer they had was a guy in mixed reality, so he's physically there, and then the VR associated. So when I play Beat Saber mixed reality, it just like put the thing over my hand because it's like, there's a controller there. There's also a hand there it doesn't know about. So, Pistol Whip is a VR game on rails, shooting rhythm game. So basically, they described it as, oh my god, I'm blanking on it. Beat Saber meets. Thought if I delayed,
Super
I would
Hot?
be able. Super Hot. There we go. Yeah, Beat Saber meets Super Hot in VR. So you're on a rail. It's enemies coming at you. You're shooting them. You're not having to be super precise, accurate like you are with Super Hot. But there is a rhythm kind of mechanic where you're shooting them to a rhythm. You don't have to, but the game's intended to kind of flow that way, and it just looks like a ton of fun because it's basically you're John Wick running through this building with people coming at you all the time, and you're shooting and all this stuff. So I'm surprisingly excited for that. So that was actually showcased in the Upload VR showcase that they did. So.
What will that
Very
be? What VR?
So they said all main platforms. Quest is still unknown,
Yes.
but it will be on the Oculus platform, Steam VR, and one other one.
Index, probably.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was on all main platforms.
Yeah.
Of course not. Will you be streaming that one?
100%.
Honey.
You
Definitely.
heard it here first,
100.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so that's coming out in 2019. They didn't give a specific date, which seemed like another trend, mainly by Nintendo, side tangent, that, it's coming out in 2019. There's only 6 months left. How do we not know dates if it's coming out in 2019? But anyways, coming out in 2019, done by Cloudhead Games. So pretty cool. If you guys are fans of Equilibrium, fantastic movie.
Yes.
Hardcore Henry, pretty good movie. John Wick, they said if those are your three, then you're going to love this game. So I will be definitely playing that. And then one I didn't note on here, but I'm excited for, is a Beat Saber version for the Oculus Quest. Only Quest right now confirmed. But that is 3D. So the levels, normally they come straight at you. But then they'll be at you, and then over here coming at you, and over here coming at you.
What?
And stuff.
360 degrees.
Yeah. It's
What?
trippy looking, but I'm pretty excited. And it's weird that they're only confirming Quest since everybody can rotate. So.
But everybody's got a cord. So the Quest can actually make
Oh,
full circles
yeah,
and
that's
tangle
right.
yourself up. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
you
cool,
just
actually.
Tangling yourself up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So very excited about that. They didn't say when that was coming either. So, 2019. Okay, cool. So yeah, best VR, AR, hands down. There were a lot of other VR games. If you guys have VR interest in it, watch the Upload VR showcase. It was pretty cool. A lot of interesting ones, but VR is still not quite on that same level to get that kind of hype because usually their trailers are really bad and they're small studios and
It's hard to do.
yeah. So let's see. Best hardware peripheral. Mike, go for it.
Xbox Elite Series 2. I don't know. I just thought it was freaking sweet.
I
The
agree.
controller was
I agree with you.
completely customizable. I've always kind of been interested in the Elite Series 1, but
Yeah.
because
It's the price point that just drives me away.
it's
But
a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
180?
$180 for the Series 2. That's the cost of 3 controllers.
Maybe I'll get the Series 1 now because I'm sure that's going to
They'll
drop down.
probably drop. Yeah. If I get the Series 1 for $99, I'd pick it up.
Yeah, right now that's 120.
I think so.
Somewhere
I think
around
it's
there.
about 120.
So, yeah, they're
So-
cool looking controllers. I've never done one of those elite ones. PlayStation has them now and stuff like that. I just, I don't know. If I got super into Call of Duty Modern Warfare when that comes out or something, but honestly, I'll probably play that on PC.
Yep.
Those type of games, I don't have that need. I'm not the hardcore console gamer. When I'm a hardcore into a game, usually it's PC. So
Yeah, I mean, I primarily would use that controller for PC. I mean, it's a little different for you.
Oh, okay.
Because, Mike plays a lot of PlayStation games. You both play a lot of console games. I do if it's an exclusive, but for me, if I can play it on PC, I will. So that's where that controller would come in handy for me. If it's not a game that works better on mouse and keyboard.
Well, to be fair though, I've been playing console games for 25 years, and at
Yeah.
no point have I ever felt like a new controller would have made this easier.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. It'd be cool. It's not like the old turbo controllers from the Sega Genesis days where you just have to hold a button and
That's all the
it's just
it's
fine tuning of speeds and things like that. So
it's definitely a nice to have, not a need to have.
That's it.
So
that's it.
Yeah.
Super cool technology, but they're solving a problem that I don't even have.
Right.
But I did like you can save profiles in your controller, so you
Yeah.
can have like a Forza profile and then a Call of Duty profile,
That's pretty cool.
and then with the push of a button, change all your sensitivities and your mappings and everything. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Best action game. Mike?
I'm gonna go with the Fallen Order for sure. I think that the sort of platforming adventure aspect of the game is it. It reminded me a lot of a God of War game. So God of War 3, where you're sort of on this singular path. You kind of explore the levels, but it felt very sort of gated and one-directional. But you have the big boss fights, you have the platforming, you have the puzzle solving. That stuff's right up my alley. So very excited for this one.
Yeah.
I think we all answered this one the same.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm trying to really think of like the other ones that were out there at this time. I don't think if there were other action games on this level that we didn't got to see as much gameplay as we got to see with Star Wars.
Yeah, like the action adventure type thing.
Right.
Yeah. Without PlayStation being there, it was. I feel like slim pickings on a lot of the story-driven games, which is kind of weird.
That's right. Finish your backlogs now, guys, because there ain't shit
That was
coming
the
out.
time.
Yeah.
That was the time.
Yeah.
2021's gonna be packed.
Yeah, man. This whole E3. 2020.
Yeah, they talk about
2020.
so much.
Really? God. Okay.
Yeah, there was nothing really. The difference with this, though, I mean, as hype as I am about it, I didn't watch the gameplay and go, "Oh my god, this is next gen game breaking," new aspects. But as long as they have a compelling story, I'm really confident that this will do a good job. And as well as it being Respawn, I have my confidence in there as well. So
Yeah, what excited me about this one is fighting through, getting your experience, going through your skill trees, learning that new move.
Yep.
We talked a little bit about the sort of force pull and then ramming your saber through the guy's chest, like that kind of stuff. That really, I get pumped for.
Yeah, and this is a little bit on the rumor mill-ish, but I heard for people that got to see more, play more behind the scenes, that it's more open than most people think. Like that this was an optional mission that you could went to a different planet and did some other stuff. So I'm hoping that there's a little bit more opening than like an Uncharted, let's say. I'm hoping that there's like a little bit more. I don't need to be
kind of like God of War. God of War had its like critical path, but it had like kind of side stuff that it's open world but not open world.
Yeah.
Like
it's more sandboxy, but not.
And I don't need this to be Red Dead. This doesn't need to be Red Dead.
Yeah.
But just something a little bit more open.
Maybe like Arkham Knight, where you sort of like kind of do what you need to do in the city, but you have like your pointed missions.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same way. Honestly, my first reaction to the gameplay, so EA Play, they showed 12-ish minutes of gameplay going through it, and I like the look of it. I kind of expected a little better graphics. I'm not sure why, or maybe it was the stream or whatever, but it's just kind of like it looked good, just maybe not as good as I kind of wanted it to look.
Yeah.
Compared to like some of the other games we'll talk about, like Final Fantasy VII and stuff like that, it just looked breathtaking.
Yeah.
But it looked good. The combat felt weighted, which was good. So like this saber, stabbing, and everything, it didn't just feel like it was like non-consequential. It looked kind of visceral. I'm a little worried as far as those mechanics of pulling the guy through and stabbing him through. That was an amazing piece. If I do that 300 times, how am I going to feel about it?
Right.
So kind of some of those mechanics. But I was actually very surprised. I anticipated it being he's, a Jedi that escaped Order 66. I expected him to be more of a Padawan. And they said this is about, the gameplay they showed was about 3 hours in. They said early on in the game, which makes me optimistic, but carefully optimistic, that's going to be, I hope, 30 hours long. Reasonable, probably 20 hours long, if I had to guess. That you actually develop your force powers and stuff like that, but he has more force powers than I thought. Like him blowing through these doors and stuff, I was like, oh damn. It's not Force Unleashed, but it's also seems good. I mean, it seems balanced.
He's got a mix of force powers that we've seen throughout the series, it seems like. Like I did not think he would have the same force powers as
Star Killer.
No, not Star Killer. Oh my gosh, it's slipping my mind.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No.
Master.
Anakin Skywalker.
No.
Ahsoka Tano.
the Sith. The new one.
Kylo Ren.
Yes, thank you.
Adam
Yes.
Driver.
Yes. The power of that, like, where he's, like, stopping the, like, literally a laser, like, mid.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's a...
Well,
So, and I don't know that it's exactly that, too, because he, like, slows down time, whereas, he actually, like, stopped it.
Yeah,
Kylo
I don't
stops
know.
it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, the slowing down time thing, I'm curious. I feel like that's going to be a super OP mechanic unless
It
it's...
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited more. That comes out November 15th. Going to be competing with Pokemon, Sword and Shield, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
Stadia.
Jumanji, the video game.
You all know me, I'm not
Set
a
'em up.
superstitious guy, but I'm not fucking playing that game. No way, no how.
That's funny.
It's a good movie. It's not look like a good game.
Did you pre-ordered the collector's edition for them?
The deluxe edition.
Deluxe
it
edition?
was, yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised no collector's edition, like
Yeah.
Statue or something, because I probably would have gotten that one. But
Yeah, we know you.
I have a problem.
You do.
Whatever. At least there's not a chart of, like, what different stages
Oh
of
my
what
God,
levels
yeah.
you get with the Ultimate Elite
Oh,
Pass.
it's not
versus, like,
Ubisoft.
Gold Edition. Yeah.
Or EA.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, it sort of is.
It's sort
Wait a
of.
minute.
Let's see. Going on to Best RPG. Mike?
I think this is kind of a cheater answer because the world has experienced it already, and it is widely considered to be the best JRPG of all time.
Because it is.
Because it is. Absolutely. Final Fantasy VII, for sure. Remake. I am beyond excited for this game. There are so many things about a Final Fantasy game that just trigger these visceral feelings of excitement inside of me. And
Yeah,
this,
see if it does that to me too.
oh my gosh.
Okay.
These hit all those feelings for me. It made me feel like just watching the trailer made me feel like the first time I played Final Fantasy X and sort of like exploring that grand world and going, because I mean before that it was like Final Fantasy VIII. You're just like it just didn't feel the same. So I feel like bringing a story that I love into a brand new world, I'm pumped without question.
I agree. That you nailed it. You nailed it. So Final Fantasy VII, kind of talked about earlier, but I had a lot of questions about the remake as far as the combat and things like that. Square knocked out of the park and what they showed us and made me 100% sold. I still have a lot of questions as far as the reimagining of the story and things like that. Like, how do you make a full game out of Midgar, which is, the first disc, and really it's a lot of the story, but not like that much of the story when it comes to actual Final Fantasy VII. So I'm curious to see what those dynamics are, see if they play out, see if it's... I'm hoping it's a story they tell, and it's not like choices and things like that. Final Fantasy VII had minimal choices in it in the original.
But you can date Barrett.
You could date Barrett, which was always something. There's a trophy for that, and it's very difficult to get, actually. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I kind of wish they would have shown more as far as like dialogue and things like that, but what they showed was more than I needed to sell me on it.
Sure.
And seeing the actual, not even the CGI portions of it, but the actual battle and combat is what I remember as a kid, this being my first introduction to JRPGs, of the CGI cutscenes of the original Final Fantasy VII, which you look back and they're just not good. Like, the backgrounds are great, but the characters still look super just bad. Seeing it now, the battle mechanics is what I remember as a kid of how good this game looked, and now the fact that it's actually a reality, I'm like reliving my childhood. It's not like going back to a game and being like, oh, I remember it being so good and it's terrible. I remember this game being so good, and now I have it actually as good as I remember it. So, March 3rd, 2020. Can't come soon enough.
And Steve, actually, to answer your question, Squaresoft, back in 1986 or whatever, They were actually going broke. And they released this game, and it literally was the Final Fantasy. It was intended to be the last game that they released, and it did so well, it put the game back on the map, or put the company back on the map. And then they continued to make new ones because it fucking prints money. So, yeah. Evidently, final means success.
Continuing Fantasy 7.
Yes. It doesn't have the same ring,
remake,
but same thing. So.
I am a little surprised on that note that they didn't talk about Final Fantasy 16 because this is the longest that they've ever went without announcing a new Final Fantasy. I get that they're building on 14.
So much, yes. So much of that.
And there's still. I mean, up until the middle of this year, they released content for Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like they were just trying to make that game good.
It was good.
With the changes they made. I never finished this, so that shame on me. But
I loved every minute. I platinumed the hell out of it. It was so much fun.
I should go back and give that a try. Right now, Final Fantasy IX is available on the Switch, and I'm playing that. And one of the coolest announcements, since we're talking about best RPGs of the show, Final Fantasy VIII coming to the Switch, which I'm super excited about, since no one ever thought that was going to happen.
I was going to say, granted they didn't talk about the next one, like between that, like you mentioned Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, like there was enough of the other stuff to be like, alright,
Yeah.
Deion? Yeah. Cyberpunk 2077. That's where I'm at. For me, I mean I don't need to sell too hard on this, but my type of role-playing games that are like nostalgic to me are the ones of like the Mass Effects, the Knights of the Old Republics, where I get to personally build my own character, and I'm in this story, but I get to make my choices that can take me in any direction that I choose, and that's what this game has, and a whole shit ton more. And I think this is going to be one of the next type of RPGs that it's literally going to change the scoping of how we think about RPGs in the future. That's all I really need to say on it. I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, just like Witcher 3 was kind of the, I would say the milestone set for that. Now this, from what everybody is saying, is going to be that next thing. They talked about it in the E3. I guess it wasn't a full demo, but it was like they showed like 40, 50 minutes of gameplay, and they showed this one area, somebody going through as a hacker, and kind of how that looks, and then they rewound it and then showed what it looked like had they went through as like a strength-based character, and like doors were ripped off rather than hacked and all this stuff, and it just sounds like there's an immense replayability. I'm not sure if it was one of you guys I was talking to that was saying you can go through the whole game.
You can without killing somebody.
Wow.
They have like stun guns and different things like that too. So like, you can essentially beat the game or go through the whole game.
If there's a pacifist trophy, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Yeah.
God dang it. I can't do this.
Like games like that have their replayability are like Skyrim. I don't know how many times I've restarted Skyrim and it's been like, okay, I'm gonna do magic only, or I'm gonna do sword and shield and no spells at all and all this stuff, and just being able to replay it with really fresh content going through the whole way. So can't wait for that. April 16th, 2020. Damn.
You gonna be able to get through
also, sorry,
Final Fantasy 7 in 6 weeks?
I didn't have my Cyberpunk logo up there. My bad.
Good.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7, just over a month before. I'm going to have to beat it twice before Cyberpunk comes out. That's going to be my goal. I'll probably be streaming that a lot. So
yes.
Excited for that. Let's see.
Fucking Steve. +1, my friend.
What? Okay. Let's see. Best fighting game.
I don't even think I put one down.
All they had was new characters for Smash.
Yeah, Smash.
Yeah.
You can be a hero, named hero from Dragon Quest XI. You got a bunch of different skins. You got Banjo-Kazooie.
I do have something for this. Brawlhalla. They put Adventure Time characters.
Yeah.
Listen, John. Brawlhalla. I'm actually good at that game. Like, I'm pretty good at that game. I'm not good at Smash, even though I play it to my
They're so close.
But Yeah, man. Actually, I will try that out. And it's cool that they have like these characters that you don't like. Rayman, like that was one of them that they put in there.
Right.
So it's cool that they're doing that.
Yeah, they had at least 3, right? So there was Finn and Jake and Princess Bubblegum.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's any others. They didn't really say, but those are the 3 they showed.
Brawlhalla, Steve.
So I haven't.
It's free.
It's free, man. Check it out. It's actually a lot of fun.
It's a good game. I haven't ever watched Adventure Time. I've always wanted to, and always it's kind of like on my list of like, I should really get to that. I feel like this came out way too late. Like Adventure Time is kind of like,
it just ended. Like, didn't it? It was recent that it just ended. So
sorry, as far as
I mean,
like
he's talking about the hype. It's on the come down the hype,
like,
which is probably why they were able to get the licensing for it. Honestly, because they have their own. I think they've done their own games. But
my daughter loves it, so we watch it a lot at my house.
Yeah, I have always wanted to watch and really need to. Maybe this will actually make me watch it. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, I just felt like it was like, what? Weird. I don't know. It seemed odd to me. Whatever. Let's see. Best mobile game. I put none because it's E3. I get mobile is big, but shut up.
For me, best mobile game. There wasn't anything that really blew me away. There was the Blades announcement for Bethesda. That actually, that came out about 6 months ago, and I had it installed for about a month and a half. And the beta was so packed I couldn't even log in, so I deleted it. Re-downloaded it after E3, mostly because of the announcement that it's coming to Switch as well, and you can take your progress from one and carry it over to the other, which I thought was super cool. So I did start playing it a little bit, and it's actually pretty fun. It reminds me of, was it Infinity Blade? A couple years ago, where you slash and fight bosses. Less focus on like the boss fights, but it's the same sort of mechanic. You travel through a dungeon and you sort of tap to attack the different creatures and stuff. Very much like a Baldur's Gate or a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing. So
I don't know that when I think of mobile games, that's not usually the game I'm thinking of. Like I want to play. Mm-hmm. Like Tom Clancy's Elite Squad is. I went in. I signed up for the mobile beta whenever for the pre-registration. Because that's more of a mobile game that I could see myself playing, more strategy and time killer. The Blades just, I don't know. Yeah. I briefly played it. It just wasn't that type of game that I expect to play on mobile. But, I don't know. Deion?
I felt the same about Blades. I did think about the Tom Clancy one. That's interesting. You signed up for that. What's that called? You know
Tom Clancy's Elite Squad. Doesn't have a date on it, but you can go into the... I'm assuming the Apple Store, but the Play Store at least for Google, and pre-register for it.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot. Because you're right, that is a little bit more up my alley. It's just not a game that I really need a full focus on, that I can kind of just look down and do some strategy stuff. I don't need to have headphones on or anything like that. I can just kind of play it, but not the best way that I was looking to get... what's his name?
Sam Fisher?
Yeah, Sam Fisher. Like,
I was literally looking up his name because I was blanking on it.
Yeah, man.
Only way we're going to be able to play Siphon Filter ever is with Tom Clancy's Elite Squad. Yeah, it reminded me more of like the Rabbids. I mean, it's by Ubisoft, so it's probably going to be the same thing. Rabbids and what's the other one? Pretty much Rabbids, but not SOCOM. XCOM, there you go. So, yeah. Or we could just say Stadia, and then in 2020 we're going to play any game we want on our phones, because the future is almost now.
I'm so fucking excited.
Speaking of the
time
future...
check real quick, 4:10, we got 20 minutes.
Okay.
But we're tracking okay.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well. Real quick note about the future being now. Just Dance 2020 is coming out on the Nintendo Wii, and that just makes me so happy for no reason. November of 2019, there's going to be a game released on the Nintendo Wii. It
makes sense, because like that is what, if you have a Wii and you're playing it, that's probably what you're playing. You know?
Well,
probably.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the same hardware as the Wii U, and the game probably uses about 40 megabytes of data. So
not coming out on the Wii U, oddly enough. Well, not oddly enough, but
weird.
Yeah, weird, surprising.
I don't know.
Best sports game. Or I'm sorry, I skipped one. Best racing game. There were two that I can remember.
Yeah, the other one that you were talking about is
Circuit Stars? Is that what it's called?
Circuit Superstars.
Circuit Superstars. Apologies. That's a top-down circuit type car racing game. Stylization looks kind of cool, but I hate racing games like that. Like, I've never enjoyed top-down racers.
No.
Ever.
I like to be in the cockpit driving. Like, I'm that first-person race car driver.
I'm always third, but, like, it's still, left and right, not top-down. Yeah.
Right. So, I think with that being said, the only real choice is Forza Horizon 4, and it wasn't even like that was a new announcement. There's a Lego Champions...
Lego Speed Champions.
Lego Speed Champions expansion coming to it, which is kind of cool. Basically, you race around in the same cars, but they're Legos. And then the worlds, they kind of have like Lego bushes and shit, so you can run through that. Pretty neat. I'm kind of hoping you can do like upgrades and stuff and like get bigger bricks and stuff and like build your cars to be cooler. That would actually make it a little bit more fun. Otherwise, it's just Forza mechanics in a Lego car.
Which Forza is a great game, but
it is.
It just seems out of left field. Like, why?
Right.
Are we doing this?
Right. Why was this an announcement?
Yeah. That was E3 this year. Why are we talking about this when we have this airtime? Okay. Best sports game. I think all of the.
No, guys, you guys are all off. It's not FIFA. It's not Madden. It's Roller Champions, best sports game.
You know what?
Of 2019.
Scrap my answer. That's absolutely correct. The Skinny Punchy game. Thank you, Steve. You were absolutely right.
Shit.
It was.
It
was
Roller Champions. Punchy game. That's it.
Yep.
I think you're right.
Unanimous. Like there's no fuck FIFA.
I'm not gonna lie. Awesome. Madden and FIFA.
Oh, come on.
I do kind of want to play. I don't want to play both. And that's my problem. I don't know which one I want to play more. I think FIFA at this point.
Why Madden?
Madden Ultimate Team. I love Madden Ultimate Team, but the problem
Did you get Madden last year?
No, and I haven't gotten it since.
About a year before that?
Yeah, 2016 or 2017.
All right, John. I'm just checking.
But the problem is, I spent too much time playing it, and then spent some real money on the Madden Ultimate Team because it's a racket by EA. Whereas FIFA, I've never done the Ultimate Team, and I've just enjoyed the mechanics and playing with friends and stuff like that. So
I'm interested in the street stuff. I think that's the main thing for me. If there's like, and because they talked about the street stuff being 3v3s and stuff like that, like that could potentially be a cool squad mode game.
But it has been re-architected.
And the ball physics,
Did you say that yet?
top-notch ball physics. But Roller Champions for sure. Not sure how I'd never thought about that.
I know, I didn't either.
Game.
Good call.
Good
call.
You leaving that shit blank. Let's see.
I wanted it to be suspenseful.
You fucking nailed it.
Best family social game. Mike?
So if we can all agree that the Stadia conference is part of E3, then the one family-type co-op game that got me the most excited is Get Backed.
Oh,
it's going to be
an
overcooked style game with 4 people working together to accomplish a goal, but you're packing up a house and loading it into a truck. And if any of you guys have ever packed a house and loaded it into a truck, it is the most frustrating thing there is. So I think that it'll be an absolute blast yelling at my wife to rotate clockwise so we can make the couch out the door. Totally fun.
That is a great choice because that does look amazing.
He did beat you.
Damn it!
And I put the name in it.
Oh
yeah, he did.
So it just looks like a lot of fun. Physics are off the wall and stuff like that. Looks pretty cool. Mine was Fall Guys Ultimate, although I don't think they technically showed any gameplay. It was kind of questionable at the end. That was part of the
Thanks, Steve.
Devolver Digital conference. Fall Guys Ultimate looks kind of like a I can't think of the name of the show. Adventure course with a bunch of guys, and you try to make it through with as many guys remaining.
What is the name of that?
Wipeout.
Yeah.
Wipeout. So it looks like Wipeout, but animated, looks fun, and just,
like this big
good
fucking like
multiplayer.
Baymax looking balloon guy.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
Looks pretty cool. Deion.
For me, as I link Fall Guys, I was living somewhere under a rock for a while, and I never played any of the Lego Star Wars games. So I am really excited about the what was it called, John?
The Skywalker Saga?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Because that should have everything, right? To my knowledge, it should have everything.
I think it's a repack of a lot of the other games,
right.
Plus like 9, which isn't out yet, obviously.
Yeah. So essentially, this is my time to boom catch up on everything and have all the Lego stuff.
Yeah. So when I was maybe 19, my little brother was 3, and he really wanted to play video games. And so Lego Star Wars, is actually the game that I put him on because he could walk off the cliff 1,000 times, and they would just put him back.
Yep.
And now he's about as hardcore of a gamer as I am. So shout out to you, Zach. I probably will pick this game up just for the nostalgia factor for sure.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool, man.
Those have always been great games. So I'll probably check it out. Although I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed when the Star Wars intro came up, and then it was a Lego Star Wars game getting announced. I was like, "What is happening?" Oh shit!
Fucking Legos.
I'll probably buy it, but
yeah, obviously.
Let's see, best online multiplayer.
So the ones that we had listed, I don't know if did that actually get announced at E3. Technically, it was before.
Not
right?
announced, but it was in the Xbox conference.
So Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which I did not think I would ever say in a long time.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm interested in what this new, what the changes will be, and the trailer that we got was really fucking awesome. So much so that I'm interested in trying to check that out. There wasn't a lot of other online multiplayers that I could think of that were brand new,
Yeah. I'm scrolling through the list trying to find stuff, and
there's not much.
Which is weird because multiplayer has been the focus of E3's past, besides PlayStation. But
technically though, with the new Xbox PC Game Pass and Stadia and xCloud, all games are online games now.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, online multiplayer,
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
No, not much.
Never mind, I got one.
Oh, yeah?
Yep,
Well,
I
go
got
for
one.
it.
Marvel's Avengers, I think, because they didn't confirm a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's fair. You got just as much of a trailer as we got for Call of Duty.
Yeah. So Call of Duty, though, this will be the first Call of Duty. The Call of Duty 4 I was tempted to get, never did. I will be getting this one when it comes out because it looks like they're doing everything right this time.
Yep.
It just looks like they're focusing on the right stuff. It's cross-play, cross-progression, all this stuff. So very excited for it, actually. Which, seems really weird to say. Kind of makes me feel dirty. Mike?
So this one, I don't feel super great about my answer, but if I'm being honest, I am genuinely excited. Destiny 2 for the Stadia. So, there's been some conversation recently about crossplay and whether or not you can actually play with people on PC when you're playing on Stadia, and they'll work all that shit out. Whether you will or you won't really doesn't affect me too much. But I really do enjoy Destiny. And I'm excited about being able to play Destiny in my theater, or once again, pausing the game and going upstairs into my office or wherever I want to go. The mobility of playing Destiny 2 has me pretty excited. And maybe you guys, or at least some of the Stadia founders here, will pick it up and play with me. Who knows? So
Now that you said that, I'm in. But
he wasn't even.
I was gonna be like,
actually, I was gonna say that it's been a while, and I would definitely play some Destiny 2 again. That guy's not even about it over there.
It's free to play, plus Stadia is going to be a free platform, so you can borrow one of my controllers and
that's a good point.
jump in.
Perfect.
Yep.
Don't borrow it. He's a
Friends let friends borrow things, John.
Unless they're plebs.
See what
That's a good lead-in. Yeah, cookies. Okay, next one. Best indie game. I think you guys both have the same answer, so I'll let you guys go.
12 minutes. 12 minutes. I think I was blown away by this trailer. He's sort of trying to solve a mystery, Groundhog's Day style. The whole trailer starts with like this top-down view of these two people sitting at a table.
And it's not full screen either, which I think adds oddly to the effect, where it's kind of like you see the room, but it's not like you just see the whole room. It's like
it's like you're literally peering into a box almost, and you're kind of watching what's happening. And these two people are sitting at the table, and they're having dinner, and the woman mentions that she got the man a gift, and he's able to guess what's in the box and give context to why she got the gift and sort of what her secret is. And she's a little confused, and then he sort of opens up and says, look, in just a few minutes, some men are going to be knocking on the door, and they're trying to get you, and there's some questions about something that happened in your past, and I need you to tell me what happened so I can help you. And she's sort of freaking out, and sure enough, somebody knocks at the door, and there's some sort of chaos, and something happens, and the whole thing sort of resets. And so you're playing this game in what I can only imagine are sort of 12-minute chunks, sort of like Memento, maybe not necessarily in like playing the game backwards, but you're trying to little information at a time, trying to piece it all together. It seemed like obviously the indie flair and the sort of like the very stylistic graphics is very cool, but it seems like they're gonna do a Majora's Mask type thing where they're taking very little game content and making it super, super, super deep. And so I'm very interested to play it and sort of unravel the story and sort of see what's going on.
Yep. Copy paste everything he just said.
Yes. Except for that typo in line.
Done. Done. Yeah, that does look like a fantastic game. Definitely going to pick it up. Mine, however, 12 minutes is a good one.
I don't even remember this one.
Summer Catchers from Kind of Funny Game Showcase. Looks like the perfect game, very reminiscent of kind of like Celeste and type games like that, which I just loved. 2018 had some amazing ones like The Messenger, which has DLC coming out, which I'm super excited for that. Just really cool indie, a lot of different mechanics, side-scrolling, stylized, pixelated. It just looks like an awesome game. Yeah. So check out the trailer. I posted in the chat. It's kind of weird to describe because it's kind of somewhat all over the place. Like you get a car and stuff, and
it's like a little kid going on an adventure. Yeah,
but
it's pretty cool.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, "This looks like Celeste / Messenger. I want it." And that was kind of my like initial gut reaction. So looks cool. Let's see. Going on to best ongoing game. So. How did you guys take this?
So I took this as a continuation of a previous story. So my title happened to be a sequel.
Okay. Deon, how do you take it?
I didn't know how to take it.
Yeah.
If it's based off of that, then I'm aligned with what Mike ended up listing, which is Watchdogs.
Yep.
I honestly didn't know how to take it either. So at first I was thinking it was more of like... I copied it from E3. So this one, at first I was thinking it was like an MMO type thing, like as continued story or whatever. But then I was like, I think I went kind of like Deion's, which is the Outer Worlds initially, whereas games we knew about and continue hearing about but don't have yet.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Mike, why don't we start with you then?
So I took it like a continuation of an existing story, very much like a sequel, right? And I said Watchdogs Legion. I played the first Watchdogs, super underwhelmed. I was so underwhelmed. I was pumped for the game, and it just ended up being like press square to hack sort of thing, and I didn't feel like this super underground hacker. I felt like this idiot in a trench coat with like a one-button action, and it was a little lame. But so because of that, I actually skipped Watch Dogs 2 entirely. But to see the depth of
2 wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was much better than the first.
Okay.
So
different, very different though.
To see the depth of the third one,
and
it was less about like the whole gimmick in Watch Dogs 1, which is like hack everything, hack that light, hack that guy's cell phone, hack that guy's pacemaker. It was very much like build a resistance, and you go out and you recruit, and every person sort of has a mission you have to complete to recruit them, and if they die, they die. But you can be whoever or whatever you want to be. There was lots of sort of playful banter around being this gang of old ladies. Or you could be a bunch of school kids, or you could be like middle-aged hipsters. Like, it didn't matter what you wanted to be, you build your resistance. I'm also sort of a bit of a fanboy for great voice acting and the depth put in. The fact that every character is voiced completely and they have their own stories and stuff, like that cool. Level of depth is super, super cool to me. So I will definitely be picking up Watchdogs Legion, and hopefully it can kind of correct where my head has been at for the other ones.
And I'm trying to think when that comes out. March 6th, 2020. Oh, man.
So I'll be picking that up sometime around summer of 2020.
Yeah.
Crazy. Next year's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know.
That's weird. Because I feel like it was fall of 2018 that was crazy. 2019 hasn't been crazy at all. Spring 2020 is going to be just off the rails. You know what? I think I'm going to actually go with Watchdogs Legion too. This one I left blank because I really couldn't decide, but Watchdogs Legion had one of the better showings at E3, kind of like I mentioned earlier with Final Fantasy VII. They had the right gameplay. It's a super ambitious dynamic that they have in it, or functionality, whatever you want to call it, of bringing people into your legion, or whatever it is. And the fact that they can perma-die and stuff like that, so it's going to be like, quote-unquote, using weapons, but like you want to carefully use them because you could lose them and all that stuff. The grandmas and all that stuff I thought was a pretty cool gimmick. I don't see myself ever using a set group of people, like grandmas or hipsters or, their examples. I'm sure I'll probably be more widespread, I think, would be how I play the game.
I think I'm going to be kind of limited, but then when somebody dies, it'll be like,
like, I'll reload.
Yeah, because I'll probably be like the same five. If I could help, it'd be like the same core people, like 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
If something happened to them, I'm going to be like, no.
Well, and what seemed kind of cool, and I don't know if it was just like flavor text or if it was actual gameplay, but they talked a little bit about like the people's past. Like, this person is ex-special ops.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm curious whether or not, like, you're trying to find people that are just military, and those are the only 6 you need, are these like special ops military guys, but they have certain abilities that other ones don't,
Yeah.
Also be interesting to see if they do any sort of like weird cameos, like an ex-hitman, and there's a guy that looks like Keanu Reeves or whatever. Like that kind of stuff would be fun.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not?
Running around.
Shoot, we are coming up on 4:30 here. So let's can go through here. Most excited for a game?
Final Fantasy VII, without question.
Cyberpunk. Without question.
Yeah, okay, I said without question. I really mean like
honestly, those are even for me. God, spring of 2020 is going to be amazing. So I don't think we probably need to talk more about that one. Nope. Eager to know more.
I'll jump on this one just quickly.
Yeah.
For me, it was the Ghostwire Tokyo game. Got the trailer, really cool. I just want to know more. I want to know what that gameplay looks like, and what characters you actually are going to be, what things you get to actually, what abilities you get to actually do, that type of stuff. So that's the one that I'm most excited to know more about, to see if I would definitely jump into that.
For me, Deathloop and Outriders looked really cool. I'd love to see more information on both of those. I think that'll come in time, and I'm okay sort of waiting on that.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild 2, we talked a little bit about this one. Obviously, I want to know more there. I think it was a bit too premature. I'm trying not to get excited for that, but Breath of the Wild 1 is like one of my favorite games ever. So there's that one. But I think the game that I am most eager to learn more about is Avengers. The scope of the game, I think, is going to be interesting to know.
Oh, my God.
Keep your hands to yourself. There's
I can't reach.
The scope of the game is obviously, I think we're going to get like a pretty small chunk, and then we're going to get more and more content as we go. They've already announced there will be new regions and new heroes. I love the Avengers. The whole like Marvel Universe, specifically with what's happened over the last 10 years, my heart's really gone out to a lot of these characters. This is not the same MCU, but it is a unique story, which I think is going to be really cool. We've talked a little bit about the gameplay and the people that are involved in making sure that the game feels right, so I'm really excited about that. But honestly, like, I want to know more about the single player and what is the multiplayer going to look like, and is it going to be co-op or competitive, or will it be both, or I just need to know more. I need to know more.
Yeah, that's this, and then Gears of War was one that I was like, how are you not showing more? This one I kind of get. You got time. I think it was summer 2020.
Yes.
You guys can check
No,
that out.
they should have showed more of this. John, you don't need to see any more Gears of War. You know why? It's going to be the same thing. You know why? Because 3 and 4 and 5 will be the same game. It'll be the same thing. You're going to have similar aliens. It'll be a similar storyline. Don't need to worry.
My thing was, I don't need to know
I'm
more.
more than slightly salted on this right now.
That's why this one didn't win eager to know more. That was, we should have known more.
Yeah.
Boom.
Fair.
Marvel's Avengers is, we need to know more, because there's just so many questions that I thought they would have answered, or at least given direction towards, that they just didn't. I'm excited. The character designs are interesting. I know a lot of people are giving them flack and wanting them to redesign, which they're not. All the stuff, they look similar to MCU, but they're not MCU, and all this stuff. But
That's bothering me a little bit. I gotta get over it.
Really?
It's
he
just
looks
weird.
like he looks like the stunt double for Captain America. Like that's I just have to get over that.
Tony Stark looks like a skinny Kevin Smith. Well, I guess Kevin Smith now.
It's just hard.
Like 2019 Kevin Smith.
Yeah, that's true.
So
It's
I
just
don't know.
getting over it.
Yeah, it'll be getting used to it.
Yeah.
Spider-Man nailed it, because I mean he wears a mask the whole time. But I'm very curious. I expected more gameplay, and I expected more direction on what this games as a service, or if it's single player, or what it is.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most curious about, right?
Yeah.
Because, I've seen interviews with the developers over at Crystal Dynamic, and they're saying, what is it? What do we compare this to? And their response is basically like, it's something new. Yeah, it's brand new, which is cool.
Describe it then.
Right. Help me understand. If this went on for pre-order today, I wouldn't pre-order it yet.
Yeah.
I need to know more about what is it going to be like, and what kind of an experience am I going to go on.
Yep.
If we're talking about a God of War level depth story where I'm going to grow attached to these characters and somebody may die and I'm going to feel it, like, then yes, thank you. But I don't know yet. I just don't know.
Yep. Fair point. And then real quick, which is kind of hard to do real quick, but I'm assuming it'll be kind of... Well, actually, I'm just double checking our top 5 games. I'm assuming equals best of show. It does. Okay.
Yeah.
Top 5 games. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. So my top 5 games, in no particular order, are ones we've all actually talked about. 1, Final Fantasy VII. We've talked about it quite a bit. Very excited about playing through this game once again. Honestly, if I had this game and Cyberpunk 2077 sitting on my shelf, I think I'd reach for this one first. It's that old friend in a new light that I'm very, very excited to play. Number 2, and not to be discredited, Cyberpunk 2077. Loved The Witcher 3. Platinumed it. Probably my longest platinum to date until I get that Red Dead Redemption 2 platinum.
Did that.
Yeah, it took me a
game's
long
massive.
time. It's like 170 hours or something. It was huge.
Which, by the way, coming to the Switch.
It is.
thoughts?
Switcher 3.
Cool. Not gonna pick it up.
Yep.
That's my
Yeah.
fault.
Same.
If you haven't played it and you don't have like one of those other consoles and you have a Switch, go for it.
I was really thinking about it until I saw the 540p, and I'm like, this game was too beautiful to like dumb down like that. I'm like,
It is. It would have been cool during that platinum grind to be able to pick it up and play it like here and there.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
nah, I'm not too concerned about it.
Okay.
Number 3, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Again, the sort of action-adventure platforming story. This is another one that is a brand new, unique story to the universe. It is canon, so very much like the Avengers game. I think it'll be a lot of driven narrative, and I'm very excited for that. Number 4, 12 Minutes. We talked about this. I'm super pumped for the story there. I don't really much care for the gameplay. I just want to dive deep into the story and figure out what the hell's going on, and did she in fact kill her dad? I have no idea. It's in the trailer.
Spoilers!
It's in the trailer. Watch the trailer. That's the only thing I know. I don't even know her name. I know that people think she killed her dad. That's it.
That's fair.
And number 5, actually, weirdly enough, I just realized there's 2 remakes on my list. Link's Awakening. How freaking cool is this game going to be? Yeah. We did not talk about it much during the show.
Can you just move out of the way real quick? Damn it, more so. Impossible.
Oh my god.
Really cute Link. Oh, he's so cute.
Look at this little guy.
He's so cute.
Anyway, yeah, I'm super excited for this. This is another one where this is a game that I sort of grew up with. And, man, what was the last Legend of Zelda game I played for the console?
Breath of the Wild.
No. Well, yeah, there was that one, but there was another, the one where you stick to the wall.
Didn't play that one.
Anyway, that was a lot of fun. So, yeah, I am actually really excited about Link's Awakening as well. It'd be another one I get to take around with me and play sort of off and on. And I don't have to worry about grinding out all the trophies. I can just enjoy the game like an adult. So,
what was your best of show?
Best of show, Final Fantasy VII. While I think the whole Keanu Reeves thing with Cyberpunk 27 was fantastic, it was a lot of fun to watch, to see the actual gameplay, and not only like to see the gameplay of Final Fantasy VII, but to not be disappointed at what I was watching on the screen. That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Keanu Reeves. He said Keanu Reeves.
To actually go and to be more excited when I left the show than I was going in was a huge win. Cyberpunk 2077 was fantastic, but we didn't really see a whole lot of new stuff. Certainly not enough new stuff that excited me the same way that it did for Final Fantasy VII. So, yeah, Final Fantasy VII, best in show.
Gotcha. Good. Deion, top 5.
Top 5 in no particular order. Jedi Fallen Order, no brainer, gonna pick it up. This is canon. Please don't F this up, Respawn. This needs to actually have a good, compelling story.
I know.
Curious about Saul Guerrero and how much impact he's going to have in the campaign. But, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that you mentioned it was like a side mission and Saul Guerrero was there seems weird.
But, like,
It does.
It does. But also, like, they got Forrest Whitaker and, like, I don't know. It's like if you get
they're going to milk it
legitimate
as much as
actor,
they can.
I feel like it's going to be more than just like, hey, we're going to pay you just to do a minute of voicing. Anyway, so that's on my list. Watchdogs, excited for that. Grandma's going to be part of my squad, so I'm cool.
Are you going to do a grandma-only squad?
Oh, if I could. Oh, if I could have an old lady squad, I most definitely would do that.
Really?
Yes. Undoubtedly.
Geriatric assassins.
Yes. I'm just going to try to recruit people that look like us.
Ooh.
Like, just 6 of me, 6 of you, 6 of you.
Doesn't matter what the skills are, just...
No. It's just going to be the Slightly Salted Squad.
Trash.
I could just get a bunch of Johns and then just have them die all the time.
Oh, shit.
And make a compilation of that. I do like this. This is good.
I would actually watch that.
We're coming up with good stuff here. I like it. Aside from that, I've talked about Ghostwire Tokyo a bunch. Even though there's not much to know yet, I'm super excited about it. So just, show me more. Show me more. Final Fantasy VII, I think it's going to be a terrible game. No one likes it. No one wants to get it at all.
In your sleep.
Yeah, of course, it's on my top 5. Looking forward to playing it. I played it, obviously, back in the day, but I don't know. I didn't have the same infatuation. Not that I didn't like it. I don't know. So, looking forward to seeing some nice high-res, good graphic stuff. And
I thought you were going to say something else.
I almost did, and I pulled back.
High-res
See how you
Tifa.
can pull back? You
Nope.
can pull back and not mention Tifa? Like
Nope. Can't.
Okay.
Ares/Aerith, depending on how you pronounce it. Meh. Who cares?
Yeah.
Tifa's my girl.
I don't understand why Phoenix Downs don't work on her.
Because things. Story, plot.
Yeah, that must be it.
Plot, what's the reverse of plot armor? Plot coffin.
And then my number 5, aka my best of show, is Cyberpunk. To Mike's point, we didn't get a lot of new gameplay, but I'm personally cool with that. Like, I think there's enough out there and enough feedback from the people that were there at E3 and played through a lot of stuff and said how open it was even for a demo. At this point, for me, there's always a certain point where it's like, I'm good, and I don't even actually want to see anymore because I don't want to be spoiled. Like,
Gotcha.
I got it. I know what it looks like. I know there's gonna be some pivotal characters, and now like I'm good. Like I don't need to be spoiled anymore.
Sure.
So yeah, that's my list.
John.
That's an interesting point about Cyberpunk. So let's see. I can't believe this is in my top 5. Pistol Whip.
Why do you mean you can't believe it? This is fucking awesome.
With some of the caliber level of games like you guys all mentioned, it's kind of hard for me to put Pistol Whip on here, but I knew I needed to have a VR game, and I'm super excited about this.
We need to get a name for John that's like Bill Nye, so that we can call him like Bill Nye, the VR guy. We'll just do that, but he needs to have
Force Inept to the VR.
It needs to rhyme though, John. It needs to rhyme.
I'll work on it. I'll put
Force Inept to the VR Adept.
No.
Doesn't really.
No.
Just wait till you see my new logo I'm coming up with. God, it's gonna be so good.
Spoilers.
Spicy.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it just looks good. The best VR experiences I've had are, just wait, Steve. Are games like Superhot and Beat Saber. They're games. Superhot makes you feel like a badass. You're dodging bullets. You're doing the slow time. You're throwing shit. You're stealing people's weapons and shooting them. It's those easily picked up games that make VR worthwhile and adaptable for people that I took the quest into work and I was like, here's Superhot, and people just instantly picked it up and started playing it, even though it has some not challenging mechanics but different mechanics to get used to. It's not like it's Job Simulator or something like that. So I want to put that in there because this seems like one of those games where it's not finesse shooting. You don't need to be super accurate. It's got the rhythm part of Beat Saber, which everybody loves. I mean, that's like the number one VR game of all time right now. Very excited for it. Hope it's not super short and has a decent amount of levels to it. That's kind of the only thing they didn't elaborate much on.
Sure.
But it's 2019, so excited for that. Next one is Watchdogs Legion.
Yep.
Very excited for this. I am curious to see about multiplayer because Watchdogs and Watchdogs 2, the most fun I had with both of those games was playing multiplayer. Watchdogs 1 I finished. I agree I wasn't super impressed with it, like you kind of commented, but if you took away the E3 expectations they set whenever that was, because they made that game look like it was going to be amazing, and it wasn't. But it was still, an okay story. Watch Dogs 2 I never finished, but enjoyed, but it was a very different feel. It was a lot less serious, and it was in San Francisco. It was cool. It was a lot
We
of
did a lot of
colors.
co-op in that one, too.
Yeah, we did co-op and just basically fucking around in online free roam. So I'm really hoping Watch Dogs Legion has that, although the mechanics of Watch Dogs Legion seems like that would be maybe a little preventative unless you're just locked into one NPC. You create your own NPC or whatever, which... They had a pretty good hashtag. It was NPC now means now playable character. I'm like, oh, that's clever. Cute. Ubisoft. Very excited about that. That I previously wasn't. If you would have said there's another Watch Dogs game, I wouldn't have been excited for it. The leaks kind of were like Jason Schreier had a thing about how ambitious it was. And I was like, okay. But then actually seeing gameplay and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I'm in. So... they nailed it with the gameplay and what they needed to show there. Jedi Fallen Order. Duh. It's a Star Wars game. I'm going to play the Star Wars game. It's Respawn Entertainment, so like you guys said, I'm more confident in it. Star Wars games historically have, I would say, 80% of the time not been good. So the fact that it kind of looks like Uncharted meets God of War to an extent has me hyped and can't wait for November. It's going to be a tough one besides Jumanji, but we'll see how it goes.
We all think he's joking. He's going to end up with Jumanji.
I'm going to stream that shit day one.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And then, best of show, my top two, which has been the same across the board.
Jumanji.
Cyberpunk and... Fallout. Oh my god. Final Fantasy VII. Sorry.
Yikes.
Sidetrack there. I think I'm going to do Cyberpunk number 2. It's a tough one. I've been debating this all day. Making live call right now. Cyberpunk number 2. I know pre-orders are killing the industry. I'm sorry, but I already pre-ordered both of these games. collector's editions of both because I'm going to love them, and I'm confident in that. It's not often I'm actually confident in games, and I've made mistakes before. The Order 1866, for example. It's a cool bookshelf.
We all fell for that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a hard sell, and we all lost on that. But Cyberpunk looks amazing. To your point, I'm glad they're not spoiling anything. I don't need to see more, although I do wish I would have seen some of the dialogue mechanics. That's about the only thing outstanding that I kind of wish I would have seen.
That's fair.
Even like abilities, I don't want to see because I want some abilities to be a surprise, kind of like Deus Ex. The first time I played that, I had no idea what the abilities were. And I was like, "What do you mean I can like smash through walls and like throw things?" And that's awesome. But the dialogue choices,
makes sense.
For example, Fallout 4, like Fallout 3 to Fallout 4. Had I really paid attention to the dialogue choices, Fallout 4, I might not have gotten day one because I was like, this is just not the same as a Fallout game I'd expect.
Agreed.
But yeah, super excited. I think the moment of E3, like we said before, was Cyberpunk 2077. Xbox was lucky enough to have that at their show. I am very curious whose that would have been at. Had it been PlayStation and Xbox both there?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, moment of the show, Canada coming out and stuff like that. And this game didn't need to get more hyped. And then they're just like, Keanu Reeves, and we're going to do that. So cool. Number one, though, and best to show for me, though, is Final Fantasy VII. So again, this is coming a lot out of nostalgia, which I'm sure a lot of people are coming at this game with that. But still, my favorite JRPG of all time. Arguably favorite game of all time. I always kind of go back and forth on that, but is the game I have played the most times through fully by a wide margin. So very excited for that. The graphics look good. They sold me on the combat, which I was unsure about. Materia, I'm still kind of like curious how they're going to do that. I'm hoping it's the same mechanics of linking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm still a little nervous because they're reimagining everything. That I'm like, ugh. Don't mess that up.
They did say they're bringing Materia back, and you can see it in his Buster Sword, and so.
Wait, there's only like 2 slots in this Buster Sword, and like, actually, maybe the Buster Sword only had 2.
It did, and you get better weapons with more Materia slots.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But if I get the, oh my god, now I'm blanking on the one that has 6 links in it. You're gonna have like 12 Materia orbs.
Whatever.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm curious to see how it goes. The fact that it's episodic, that I don't know. It looks gorgeous though. It's
it looks like Advent Children.
It looks like Advent Children, but you're playing it. Honestly, it's probably
that's true. That's a really good comparison.
I'm curious to look at Advent Children versus this. I bet this is better looking than Advent Children now.
Maybe
because that was the first like CGI movie I ever.
Yeah,
I think ever. Period.
No,
I don't think it was.
No, there was because they did the Spirit Within. It wasn't even the first CGI Final Fantasy movie.
Oh yeah, God, I was thinking Spirits Within when you said that. Yes, Advent Children that actually has Cloud and all that shit in it.
Yeah,
came out like.
Although Cloud was a little weird in that one.
Yeah. I'm glad they brought him back to more traditional look than.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see like Red 13, what he looks like in this and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, holy shit.
Because that's Midgar.
I love this game.
But some of my favorite characters, like Vincent and stuff, won't be in this one. Presumably. Granted, it's reimagining, whatever, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's going to be so good.
I can't wait. And if it's bad, I am going to drive to Square Enix
If it's
Studios.
bad... if it's bad, they're just going to patch it and fix it. Like they did Final Fantasy 15.
Because the internet now is a thing. So
yeah.
We can do
that.
You
guys don't like Chapter 13? Hold on.
Oh, boom. 4 discs?
Try it again.
All right. I am curious, 2 Blu-ray discs, if that's going to be like Red Dead Redemption, where one is just like data load and then one's playing it, or what it is.
If I have to get out of my fucking chair to swap discs, I'm going to be angry.
It'll take you back.
It would be kind of excited.
It's like playing,
insert disc 2. Oh my god.
It's like playing Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft Vanilla, right? Like you think you want that until you get in there, and you're like, oh my god, where? You mean my pets live in my bag again? God damn it.
I'm trying to think what game it is. I think it's Baldur's Gate 2. Was a game I had on PC, one of the first like RPGs I had on real PC, and it was like 6 discs, and it was one of those things. It was just like, what a day we live in, where we can do multiple discs and play it on this.
Yep.
And now we're just like,
the first multi-disc game I played was Metal Gear Solid, the first one.
Oh yeah. God, that game was so good too, because you had to like actually take your shit out to play part of it. Like, wasn't it? You had to take the controller
when
out.
When you played Psycho Mantis, if you put the controller in the second port, he couldn't read your mind, and then therefore you could dodge. I actually rented it, and at one point they tell you to use the comm signal on the back of the box, and there was no box because I got it from Blockbuster.
What's that?
Yeah. So for those of you guys at home, Blockbuster is an old place where you could rent movies and games for money.
Oh.
You didn't keep it. It's like Redbox, but a whole store.
Crazy.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Okay, I think that rounds out E3. Wow,
Holy
it was a meh year for E3.
It was.
But yeah, a lot of cool games. Like, it's still E3. It's still amazing. But it was a different shift, I feel like, with PlayStation out there. I feel like it wasn't as competitive, if you will.
Yeah. Well, and there's lots of other stuff coming up. So we have our PlayStation conference at some point. There's Gamescom the end of this year. There is BlizzCon still. I'm really excited for BlizzCon this year.
QuakeCon in August.
Yep,
for Bethesda.
QuakeCon, which they're actually calling DoomCon, which should be pretty interesting.
I kind of got the feel that it's 2 separate things, though. I don't know.
So you might be right. I thought he said we're calling it DoomCon.
You're Bethesda. You just do whatever you want, apparently.
So yeah, and I think as we get closer to the end of the year, there will be more reveals about new consoles and things like that, and maybe we'll start seeing new exclusives. I expect a lot of stuff coming for Stadia, and a lot more announcements for that platform over the next 5 months. So we'll see. I think while this was a weaker E3, we might see a strong finish to the year still.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I think Xbox came out, they set a bar. I don't think it's as high as they could or should have set it, but they set a bar. So now PlayStation, I mean, it's your turn to come out and say PlayStation 5 or whatever you're going to call it. I'm assuming 5.
They better call it 5.
Who knows?
It's worked for them this far.
Yeah,
Don't
so far so good. Xbox is just all over the place. PlayStation 5, is going to be before holiday 2020. Like, they now have a date that they could potentially, work towards and beat. So, who knows? But all that means is there's going to be a lot more squad thoughts for the rest of 2019 and a lot of Let's Plays in spring 2020, that's for sure. So, as always, you can check us out live at twitch.tv/slightlysaltedsquad. Go there. You can check out all our links below that go to Twitter and Instagram and Discord and Patreon and YouTube and all that stuff. So check us out wherever is most convenient, including podcast services around the world. Let's see. I think that's all I got. We got This Week in Gaming, episode 31, where we're going to be talking, I'm sure, kind of the news still coming out of E3 this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, so just a few days from now, the 19th of June.
And who knows, maybe we'll have some more PlayStation news by then.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. Any last thoughts, guys?
DoomCon is QuakeCon. It's all things Doom-related at QuakeCon. Right now.
So it's like a mini convention inside of QuakeCon?
It's on QuakeCon.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whatever they want to do. I kind of want to go back to QuakeCon. I've been to 2 of them. I loved them. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
But it's Bethesda, so why? Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Gears of War 5
Fuck
is
you.
trash.
Hey, I'm not arguing. I have nothing to tell you otherwise.
You heard it here first. John loves Gears of War 5. He's picking it up day 1.
Day 1. I don't even know what day it releases. Sometime soon.
September 10th.
Thanks for watching, guys. As always, much appreciated. And you can always check us out, again, live at twitch.tv/squad. If you got Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime. Get your free games, get your free month of Crunchyroll, and tons of other shit, including EVE Online, which I did download.
Oh my gosh.
And you can give a free sub to anybody in the community or us, because we're better than at least some people out there, so give it to us.
Statistically, you probably know somebody who's worse than us, so don't give it to them.
Oh yeah, I can at least list 2 people that are worse, that don't stream nearly as often. Okay, let's see. Until next time, guys. Stay salted.
Bye, guys.
Bye.